Coming up on this episode of Outlook TV. Scarlett Bo Bo's Season 1 tour.
Freida Whales.
Vancouver Men's Chorus Greatest Hits Show. And much, much more. Hello and welcome to Outlook TV. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And I'm Emily Ann Fraser. And you're watching Outlook TV, Canada's queer news magazine, bringing you the most from coast to coast.
And we're going to kick it off with Scarlett Bo Bo, who's hitting all of Canada as far as I know.
Ah, red and hot, dangerously hot all over. Ollie's got the hot tea.
Well, hello Outlook TV, it's me, Ollie, and today I'm having another Kiki with Scarlett Bo Bo, where Scarlett is going to tell us all about her drag career, and she's going to tell us about where you can catch her this summer.
I started doing drag. It was Halloween. I wanted to go out as a slutty nurse, so my mom did my makeup. Everybody loved me. I don't know why. I was a busted mess for sure. And yeah, it started from there, and then I started doing shows in Ottawa, and it brought me to Toronto. I started doing shows there, and then New York, and LA, and Europe, and now I was on Drag Race.
You perform, but you also do music.
I had Bobosexuality, and then I did Bobosexuality, the re-release, and now I'm starting my new music. So I've got new music with Sam Steele. It's absolutely amazing. Everyone go check it out.
So where do you get the inspiration when you write music?
From everywhere. I always like to pretend like I'm Pink, so I just like, what would Pink do? And sometimes it's about people. Sometimes I'm in a bad mood and I'm going to write a song about you. And you might know about it, you might not know about it. Yeah, and then sometimes I'm just like, I want to write a silly song. So I'm going on a tour in the UK with a bunch of extremely iconic people. And then we have our North Stars tour across Canada with some of my favorite sissies from Canada's Drag Race and Denali, which we're super, super excited about. And then I'm working on my solo tour for the winter 2021-2022 world tour, world domination. And so I can't wait to get out and tour and just start meeting my fans I have like all over the world. It's just going to be amazing.
How would you portray your show? Like, what would you showcase in the show?
God, I can't wait to showcase all of my talents. I want choreography. I want my aerial silks. I want fire. I want live music. So basically it's going to be a Pink concert, but very, very, very low budget because she's got all the money and I'm going to be, doing the tour with not a lot of money. So just think of what you would see at Pink at the ACC, but much smaller, but still fierce.
Before we go, can we play a little game? What is your favorite song to perform to?
I would have to be Raise Your Glass by Pink.
Vanilla or chocolate?
Chocolate.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Day drag or night drag?
Night drag, always.
Favorite makeup to wear?
Red lipstick.
Make sure that you follow Scarlett Bo Bo on all social media platforms to find out how you can get tickets to these amazing events. For Outlook TV, this is Ollie in Vancouver.
Next up, we've got a story about, well, I guess you've got the prop. You might as well introduce it.
It's me! You'll hear from me, and I got a chance to speak with Craig Jennings, co-author of Out North, a story of queer kinship and activism in Canada.
Outlook TV had the privilege of speaking with Craig Jennings, co-author of Out North, an archive of queer activism and kinship in Canada. Canada has many stories, and this one was worth telling.
I've been a volunteer at the archives for about a decade now, and I think that there's a sort of a sense among volunteers that we're really lucky to get to work with this material, and we're really lucky to get to spend time learning about the past through all these archival holdings. And so what inspired the book was really just an interest in bringing this material to a broader audience. The goal of this book, in which there are hundreds and hundreds of reproduced photographs and ephemeral materials and posters from the archives, is just bringing these materials into the homes of Canadians and people around the world. I think we tend to assume that the history we learn about the United States is the same as what happens in Canada. And one thing that I think Misha and I learned when we were working on this book and spending years researching and writing this book is that we have so many unique stories about queerness and LGBTQ2+ politics and culture that are much closer to home. And I teach at Ryerson University, where I work with really brilliant students. And I've noticed that they're quite familiar with stories that we hear from the United States and significantly less familiar with stories coming out of Canada. We get a lot into this book. It's about 300 pages, and there are hundreds and hundreds of reproduced materials and reproduced images, but really we just scratched the surface because this is such a rich and complicated history that we really just touch on a few things. And so, yes, it was certainly overwhelming, but it was that good kind of overwhelming where every box that you open at the archives carries all these other stories that we should know about and that we should tell and that we did not know about before working with this material. So it was both inspiring and exciting and overwhelming and terrifying. It was all of these things at the exact same time. Looking back on this history, it was a nice reminder to think, oh, there's extraordinary power that ordinary people hold. And I think that was a really nice reminder that, you know, we are currently shaping the world in which we live and the future in which we are moving towards. And all of our actions, all of our collective actions and desires can be part of that. So much of what we take for granted and are able to do now is because of people who came before us. And this entire book is just sort of a tribute or a thank you to those prior generations.
Canada's story was such a page-turner. I'm Emily Ann Fraser. You're watching Outlook TV Vancouver.
We're going to have to take a little break now.
Should we maybe go start looking for Robert? I heard he joined a cult and he was never seen again.
I love the rumor mill.
Hi, I'm Yogi.
And I'm Humphrey.
And we are from the
Vancouver Men's Chorus. And you are watching Outlook TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV.
Up next, we've got Angus, and he sings with the choir with Vancouver's greatest hits, speaking with the Vancouver Men's Choir Summer Show.
Not preaching to the choir, singing with them.
Always. Ah!
With COVID restrictions on in-person gatherings right now, the Vancouver Men's Chorus has found creative ways to deliver first-class entertainment. Today we're going to talk to them about their upcoming concert presentation, Our Greatest Hits.
We chose the theme Our Greatest Hits for this because it's our 40th year anniversary concert. So we call it Our Greatest Hits because it's ours. So it's not necessarily like maybe some people have their own personal favorites or whatnot. So for us, it really ranges from like this. There's a number about the AIDS crisis part. There's a number called Everything Possible that is like our theme song, our lullaby of a very inclusive lullaby for everybody. And then there's the production numbers as well. We have the dancing from Whitney to George Michael to Donna Summer. So there's a combo of everything that usually we have in our in-person concert. We just put it into a virtual format instead.
We have like people who are about 18 years old all the way up to 80 years old. You know, they could be hairdressers, they could be lawyers. We have all sort of different occupations in the choir. Yeah.
If you can hold a tune, you can join us, basically.
There is essentially no in-person rehearsal. So for the entire year in 2020 and like right now, we're doing virtual rehearsals. We still impact, we still like together, we're still singing together, but virtually. So that has been changing quite a bit for us. So for this concert, we're gonna have a world premiere on June 19th, but after that, we will release it on July 1st. We call it All Access, where everybody can just anytime during the day, if they want to watch a concert, they can. So if they purchase one ticket per TV, I suppose. So basically, they just sit in front of the same TV, and if you have a group of 10 people or family of 5 people, they can definitely just watch it all together.
We we actually have a fundraising free show coming up. Tuesday, July the 27th. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be free by donations. It's called Singing Can Be a Drag. So a bunch of us who don't normally do drag, we don up a drag and we sing. Already started thinking about going back to in-person rehearsals and in-person concerts. The bottom line is like everybody really wants to get together and everybody misses everybody and we miss singing together and hearing each other's voices and sounds. So that's really what we want to do.
I think that the audience expectation of our greatest hits is going to be to touch every button that they have enjoyed having been touched somewhere along the way.
For Outlook TV, this is Angus Pratt in Vancouver.
Well, this poor country star didn't lose his woman and his dog. Nope, he lost his man and his dog.
Patrick gets his cowboy boots dusty, speaking with Drake Jensen.
Well, it is a real honor for us here at Outlook TV to sit down with an amazing Canadian country artist. He is one of the pioneers in country music as an openly gay man. He is a champion of human rights. He's had streams in the hundreds of thousands all over the world. His name is Drake Jensen, and he is here today with us.
Well, first I found your ring, and then the comb you lost, with a strand of hair that your pretty head once tossed. And then
right off the bat, I just want to ask you, did you ever think your career would end up how it is with, I mean, you're basically a human rights activist. You're a champion for anybody that is, you know, the underdog. Did you in a million years think you would end up being this man and fighting for all this?
Yeah, I did. Ever since I was young, I had a real rough time when I was in school, and I was that underdog for a long time. And I think that what happened was basically, I felt myself that way for so long that when I got into a position where I would have a voice and reach people, that I would do this kind of work. So yeah, it came kind of naturally to me, really, because I've always taken up causes. The last week I took up a week, basically vigil for the First Nations people of Canada. I have my brand new charity, which I'm working for, to raise money for a granting system for LGBTQ people in Nova Scotia, in my home province. I have a lot of work to do, so I have a lot of on my own plate. So what I found was I've made myself busy, and I worry a lot less about the big associations and trying to clamor to get attention.
take my heart instead, precious pieces of you, something you left behind, maybe it slipped.
Me and Jonathan Edwards, who produces a lot of my stuff, went across from Toronto to Vancouver and Vancouver back on the train, and we played all of this music that was really great Canadian music. And at the end of the trip, we said we should record a record that includes all this stuff, and this is how this record came about. So it's all Canadian songwriters. There's only one Canadian songwriter that is included on the record. That's one non-Canadian songwriter, rather. But the rest of it is all Canadian songwriters, and Pieces of You is part of that record. And that record is called Iconic, and that will be released probably in August, September of this year.
We rise again in the faces of our children. We rise again in the voices of our song.
So we recorded the track, which was Rise Again. It was written by Leon Dubinsky in Cape Breton Island, and it's a big song in Nova Scotia, so it was a perfect kind of song to put out there. You can go to my Bandcamp at Drake Jensen Bandcamp and download the song, make a donation, and all that money from that song goes to the Rural Communities Foundation of Nova Scotia. Now, the other thing people can do is they can go to the Rural Communities Foundation of Nova Scotia website. We have a special umbrella underneath them, and it is the Soaring Eagle Foundation, which is a fund which is now raising money, and we're going to be granting 6 $1,000 grants to LGBTQ people in Nova Scotia.
You're doing a cruise next year, the Drake Jensen Cruise in 2022. You want to let viewers know a little bit about that?
Sure, yeah. So it's going to be my first cruise, actually, that we're going to be chartering, I think, 150 cabins. I think there's 180 people signed up right now. but it's going to be a 1 week long Caribbean cruise. There's going to be 5 actually exclusive events with me on the boat during that 7 nights we're there. We're having a big show, an acoustic show. I'm doing a small TED Talk like thing where I talk about my life and the trajectory of my life and what brought me to this point. And we're having a meet and greet, and we're having a disco night. The thing about Go Your Own Way is a message for everybody. It's not just a message for LGBTQ2S people. It's a message for everybody just to be themselves. And I think one of the biggest things that we really need to latch onto right now as a society is that we need to learn to respect one another, no matter who we are, no matter what orientation we are, no matter what culture or race we are, is that we are all here and we all need to get along.
So we just wrapped up with Mr. Drake Jensen. This is Patrick Massey for Outlook TV in Vancouver, BC.
Ollie checks out 13 years fostered.
A story of survival, Casey being LGBTQ in the foster care community.
Well, hello, Look TV. It's me, Ollie, and summer has arrived, and I'm so excited. And you know what I like to do in the summer is actually read a great book on the beach. And today I'm going to talk to you about one book that I really recommend, and it is called 13 Years Fostered by Casey Hardman. Actually, Casey is here. Well, not here, but on Zoom to talk about his book. Let's check it out.
My foster mother told me that only faggots wear earrings and had to hand it over because no faggots are allowed to live in their house. There was no way I was going to hand over the only gift I had left from my parents.
I published my 4th book titled 13 Years Fostered. And it's about my journey within the foster system. I spent 13 years and dealing with a lot of struggles and insecurities, being teased, constantly bullied for being gay, even though nobody ever told me that what gay meant, what any of those terms were, but hearing them all the time, it drew a lot of fear within myself. And so having to keep that in the back of my mind, no matter where I went, was always such an insecurity and a fear, because I just wanted, to live. I just wanted a family. And the last thing I wanted was to be gay, and especially in anybody's eyes, because I didn't want them to feel as though I wasn't good enough to be with them because of that.
My foster father speaks up and says that purple is a girl's color. The two of them begin to laugh. My foster mother turns to me and said, "So you're a faggot who likes a girl's color?"
I was put up for adoption, and at that point I was still, illiterate, and so it was one thing that they really knew, and they knew that it was something that needed working on. And so they went above and beyond, got me tutoring. They read to me every night. And, it wasn't just the reading and writing and practicing, because I would, practice all the time, which became a way for me to express myself. And I never thought I was going to be a writer until, the last 10 years, when I really started writing and thinking, wow, this is what I want to do. But so it's just a lot of practice and something to be grateful for. I actually have a few books in the works right now. I am doing a follow-up to this book just because I wanted to share what it's like for at least myself, what it's like for my life after foster care. Because just because I left the Children's Aid Society, that didn't mean my story ended.
My foster mother leans back and pulls out my earring. The backing was in, so it really hurt when she pulled it out.
You can buy Casey's book online or in your favorite bookstore. For Outlook TV, this is Ollie in Calgary.
We're going to take another little break now.
You look parched. It looks like you could use a drink. I know I sure can, and it won't be water.
Hi, my name is Kyisha Williams, director of Queen of Hearts and the Zoo, and you are watching Outlook TV.
Welcome back. You're watching Outlook TV.
Up next, we've got Kyisha Williams talking about their short film, Queen of Hearts. Off with your head.
Hello, folks. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Outlook TV. My name is Leroy Wan, and tonight I get to speak with Kyisha Williams, who's a co-writer and co-director of a film called Queen of Hearts, but most importantly, a speaker that reaches out to their communities, an actor, director, and someone that helps others tell their own stories.
I am an actor, I'm a director, and I'm also a public health consultant. So I have a master's degree in public health, and I'm really interested and dedicated to the work of keeping the communities that I'm a part of and that I care about healthy and safe and alive. What drew me to acting was really just my love of that craft, being able to step into someone else's shoes and really feel like and embody that experience. Queen of Hearts is a short film that I created with Lindsay Adawu. So we co-wrote and co-directed the film, and I played the lead. It was really a project in expanding on the idea of Afrofuturism, acknowledging that in order to have a future, we have a present and we also have a past. And I really was tired of watching period pieces and historical pieces that only showed Black people, Black queer people in subservient roles, if at all. And yeah, just kind of show that Black femme characters can be more than one-dimensional. So Queen of Hearts really allowed us to play with those pieces and really just to have a lot of fun and make something incredibly beautiful, but that does have a political message as well. Filmmaking is such a really important tool for me to express myself. And so I also think it's really important to arm other people with those tools so that they can also, amplify their own voice. A digital storytelling workshop that I did with Anique Jordan. And that was really a place where folks like Black youth could come together and create like little mini digital stories. I've heard a lot of things like, oh, I've never met a queer person that looks like you. And when I hear things like that, I'm always like, yeah, you have. Like, yeah, you have probably. With more people able to tell their stories, I think we can really normalize a lot of different experiences, and we can empathize with each other, look at the ways that we're different, that we experience things differently, and be able to grow and come together through that.
And for Outlook TV, my name is Leroy Wan.
And now we're going to head over to Kelowna to Freida Whales. Hold on, there's no whales in Kelowna.
Sure aren't, but what there are juicy profiles, and Sister Fancy Pants has something you can blow out your blowhole.
It's time to Freida Whales. We're catching up with the Okanagan Orca herself, drag queen Freida Whales. Let's find out what's going on in her fish tank.
Every night in my dreams, I see you. I've been doing drag in the Okanagan for about 4 years now. And I started doing drag by just kind of just dressing up to go out. There wasn't a huge scene in town, so I thought, hey, I'll dress up and go out and maybe no one will know who I am or who knows what. But yeah, and then I got hooked into the drag competition, Kelowna's Next Drag Superstar. And from there, it's all whale history. My drag name came from, I drew a big eyebrow across my forehead when I was first doing makeup. And I looked at my boyfriend at the time and I said, I am Freida. And he looked at me and he said, you should be Freida Whales. And it might have been a fat joke, but hey, thick and juicy. For why my name is Freida with a E-I, because it's I before E unless you come from the sea.
What is the drag scene and or gay scene like in Kelowna?
Started off with a little ripple and it's turning into a tidal wave now. But yeah, so we've got a couple gay businesses in town. That's we got Friends of Dorothy's, and we got a nightclub that lets us, when we can do nightclubs, that lets us do all our drag shows there. Our Pride has gotten bigger and bigger each year up until COVID, of course. Hello, everyone. I'm Freida Whales, and definitely been quite busy during COVID. I like to always have a project on the go and then always have
literally a domino effect of projects that all happen from it. Luckily, I have my best friend Jill, so she's very good with the camera and the editing, so she makes me look beautiful online. We've been trying out everything. We did a couple virtual drag shows. We made a couple music videos just on our own. We did some drag story times, just kind of a little bit of everything.
And it's the day Santa stopped believing in Harold. Oh boy, I wonder what's going to happen. Let's find.
The way I kind of got outside of the Okanagan, I definitely like to reach out and just say hi to anybody. Anyone who will say hi, I ask everybody. And if they don't answer, that's not a big deal. If they say hi, that's even better. But yeah, definitely my story time with the library got quite a big attention because I guess the CEO of the library, whatever who he was, didn't like it. And so he said something he wasn't supposed to, and it caused this whole spur among the librarians. So it started a tidal wave across Canada for that way. I like to brand myself kind of as a whole family entertainer. I can do the fun nights out for the moms, but I can also entertain the kids and the family and the grandmas. I was asked to do kind of marketing to get gay and bi and queer men to register to donate stem cells. Yeah, because we can donate stem cells. We can't donate blood, but we can donate our stem cells. Check out would be my YouTube channel. I've got interviews with drag queens from almost all the franchises from Drag Race. I've got a couple Boulay brothers on there, Boulay brother queens and kings and things.
Keeping the drag scene alive in Kelowna, this is Sister Fancy Pants for Outlook TV.
Unfortunately, that is all the time we have for this episode of Outlook TV, but we'll be back very soon. And in the meantime, if you would like to throw your hat in the ring to become the permanent co-host, please do. We are particularly looking for BIPOC or trans people to join us.
Yes, you could find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, billboards and buses and theaters.
No, none of those things. They cost money. We just have the free things. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Rebecca Wyman.
And I'm Emily Ann Fraser.
Stay safe, Canada.